Welcome everybody to Intensity Broadcasting. My name is Josh Hall. This is the Mayse Constuction SCSRA Truck Series, and this is the first round of the round of 8 here at Kansas Speedway on iRacing. Again, my name is Josh Hall. We're getting ready to kick off the round of 8. 3 races remain here in the SCSRA Mayse Constuction Truck Series season. Let's take a look at the points coming in tonight. Cody Moore at the top of the board, just 6 points ahead of Clint Stone, Devin Bucchino, Will Witt, your top 4. Eddie Morris, Kyle Mayse, Brett Merle, and Joe Wright below the cutoff line. You can see just how tight it is from 3rd on back to 8th. As we take a look at the round of 8 right now, we see the speeds on the left side of the screen on the tower. Your playoff drivers will be highlighted in green, both on the tower and on the ticker, so you know where our playoff drivers are at all times. Brian Merle Jr. up at the top of the board right now. Knocked out of the playoffs last week, trying to rebound and have a great finish here tonight. Kyle Mayse sitting in 2nd, Brett Merle in 3rd. Michael Provolt's been showing some speed the last few weeks. Currently up in the 4th position here in practice. Eddie Morris back in the 6th position. Mark Shaver's out on track, currently running in 12th. We got about a minute left here in practice. We want to thank Mayse Constuction for being the league sponsor here each and every week in the SCSRA series. We know they'll be returning back as the series sponsor again next season. Of course, we want to thank our great partner here at Intensity Broadcasting, Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is an established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel ultra-low frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. Patented design makes them incredibly powerful, accurate, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is a new and upgraded sim racing haptic hardware that reproduces immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. So check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and decide which one's right for you. Visit thebuttkicker.com. We also have links down below to our other partners, raceepi.com, intensityracing.com, where you can find hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, not just of Intensity Broadcasting, but some of our novelty t-shirts, as well as Atlee Atman Reese's racing gear. So you can check all that out at Intensity Broadcasting or intensityracing.com. And of course, a link down for the Butt Kicker, as well as we have no time left here in practice as qualifying is about to get underway. We'll take a look to see where our playoff drivers will be starting here tonight, and some of the other drivers trying to sneak a victory in here before this season ends. Drivers like Brian Merle Jr., who's showing some speed here in practice, trying to get his first SCSRA win. Michael Provolt trying to get his first SCSRA win as well. We see this 47, Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence, making his way out onto the track. Joseph Wright also out on track, trying to get a little bit of heat up into those tires to help get that truck some speed here. Jake McCarty also out on track. See the green banner on the windshield. Unfortunately, McCarty was knocked out of the playoffs. So that's why you see the round of 12 on the side, although he did not advance into the round of 8. Dustin Dean out on track as well, ripping the high line right up there against the wall. He's going to across the line and jump up to the top of the board. Actually, Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence up to the top of the board with a 31.17 on his first lap. We'll see if he's able to hold on to that. We see a few drivers showing some speed tonight who aren't normally up towards the front. Now Joe Wright up at the top of the board. Oh, Cheeseburger gets up into the wall, and that is going to disallow his time. We see Jake McCarty coming down to the stripe. He just posted a 5th place time. As Dustin Dean has now gone fastest with a 30.92. McCarty coming through turns 3 and 4 towards the line. And McCarty's going to go Q2. Currently, quite a few drivers left to qualify. Will Witt making his way towards the green flag. He'll start his first of 2 laps. Not using the apron on his opening lap here. We'll see how that's able to keep his speed up as he makes his way through turns 1 and 2. First lap is going to put him up into the 4th position. See if he's able to improve on his 2nd lap. Cody Moore and Mark Shavers both making their way out onto the track currently. Eddie Morris up into the 3rd place. He is our current fastest playoff driver as he's coming across the stripe. Here comes Will Witt across the stripe as well. Will is going to jump up in the 4th. Eddie Morris going to come across the line. He is going to stay in that 3rd position. Cody Moore just took the green flag. Cody up into the 8th position on his first lap. Down the backstretch towards turns 3 and 4. Stripe, and Cody Moore is going to jump up into P2 with a 30.95. So just 2 drivers in the 32nd bracket as we see Kyle Mayse making his way out onto the track along with Dave Hartney also making their way out onto the track. Brian Canuti and Brett Merle rolling off of pit road as we speak as well. As Kyle Mayse just took the green flag to start his first of 2 laps. Mayse right there up against the wall trying to get the speed up as he comes down across the stripe right down onto the apron. His first lap is going to put him up into 10th. Let's see what he's able to do here on his 2nd lap. He showed some speed in practice. Let's see if he can carry that speed over here to qualifying. Down through turns 3 and 4. And to the stripe, and Mayse He's going to go P1 with a 30.91. Brian Canuti just took the green flag, coming down the backstretch. Across the line, and Canuti is going to go P5 on his first lap. Down through turns 3 and 4. And over to the stripe, and Canuti will stay in P5 as he goes a little bit slower on his second lap. Clint Stone, one of our playoff drivers, coming to take the green flag. Stone running right up against the wall, as we've seen so many of these guys do here. Dives down to the apron off of turn number 4. Almost down into the grass across the stripe. Clint goes 14th fastest on his first lap. See where his second lap puts him here as he comes down the backstretch. Devin Butchino up into the 14th position on his first lap. Stone down to the stripe. Can he knock Kyle Mayse off the pole? And he will with a 30.88. How about Devin Butchino? What can Butch do here? Coming off of turn number 4 and down to the stripe. Devin's going to go P2. Almost knocks Clint off with a 30.90. Brian Merle Jr. coming down the backstretch. Seeing if he can dethrone Clint Stone here tonight. Down across the line. And Junior is going to go P10. And that is going to do it here for qualifying. With about 15 seconds till we grid them up. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Again, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, we do appreciate you spending your Tuesday night here with us tonight. Don't forget to hit like, follow, and subscribe. It really does help us out. Hit that notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Just 3 races remain here in the SCSRA Mayse Constuction Truck Series, as well as 3 races remaining tomorrow night in the Dev Sports Card Xfinity Series. Let's take a look at our starting grid. We see Clint Stone on pole with a 30.88. Devin Butchino ran a 30.89. So just barely behind Clint Stone. Kyle Mayse is going to roll off from the 3rd position with Dustin Dean up in 4th. Cody Moore and Brett Merle will round out row number 3. Brian Canuti back in 7th with Jake McCarty in the 8th position. Then Eddie Morris and Brian Merle Jr. rounding out the top 10. 11th, we find Mark Shavers and William Walter Witt the 5th. Then Michael Provolt and Todd Mayse back in row 7. Joe Wright, David Hartney in row 8. And rounding out the field tonight will be Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence and Bobby Mayse. Take a look at the race info here tonight. 73 degrees, a little bit of humidity, mostly clear. 16 mile an hour wind gusts. Track temperature 75 degrees. So with the nighttime racing, we will not see temperatures climbing quite as much. Although I did hear that the track is incredibly loose out there tonight. So watch for these drivers to slide around here tonight. As we get ready to go underway as the field makes their way out onto the racetrack. So 122 laps is the distance. Stage will be coming to lap 41. Our playoff drivers like Clint Stone and Devin Butchino, Kyle Mayse, Cody Moore, all trying to maximize their points here tonight. As the field makes their way through turns 3 and 4, and we get ready to go green flag racing here from Kansas Speedway. Kansas, track has been reconfigured and repaved. Very difficult on tires. Watch for that all night long here tonight. But here we go. Clint Stone, Devin Butchino to the stripe. Green flag is in the air. We are racing here at Kansas, and already we see some moves trying to be made back here by Brett Merle. Tried to force it 3 wide on the start. He's got Brian Canuti and Dustin Dean there 3 wide. Going into turn number 1, Merle able to keep it under control. They come down the backstretch for the first time, and Clint Stone gets out in front of Kyle Mayse and Cody Moore. Devin Butchino having a not so great start. Going to fall all the way back to the 4th position, as Kyle Mayse is now challenging Clint Stone for the lead as they go down into turns 1 and 2. Mayse up on the high side. Stone down on the bottom. Mayse Mafia 1-2. Here comes Cody Moore into the mix as well. Behind, we've got more races as Brian Canuti is looking up to the high side of Devin Butchino, but Kyle Mayse is going to move out to the lead as Cody Moore trying to take over that 2nd position, and we got drivers Butchino down on pit road. What happened to Butch that puts him down on pit road? He may have jumped the start. It has to come down and serve a penalty. For a driver who is just 4 points above the cut line. That is not what he wanted to see tonight, as he is down on pit road getting that penalty served. He will lose at least 1 lap as Kyle Mayse now has Cody Moore battling with him side by side for the lead. Clint Stone all the way up to the wall. And now Cody Moore is going to take over the lead as they go down the backstretch and into turn number 3. Dustin Dean right here in the mix as well, just kind of watching and waiting to see what's going to happen in front of him. Devin Butchino has finally rolled off of pit road, but he will be 2 laps down as the field is just making their way into turn 1 and 2. And Butchino is now just halfway down the backstretch. Cody Moore, Clint Stone still battling side by side. Dustin Dean battling to the outside of Kyle Mayse. And Dean's going to take over that 4th position. Sorry, that 3rd position. And you see that yellow truck right there out in front of the leaders. That is Devin Butchino in jeopardy of going another lap down. I take that back. Butchino is just 1 lap down, in jeopardy of going a 2nd lap down. as the leaders are not too far behind them. Cody Moore is going to take over the lead. Clint Stone almost gets into the back of Cody Moore. Here comes Dustin Dean looking up to the high side, almost up into the wall. They're 3 wide going down into turn number 1. Eddie Morris now joining the party here as well. As our top 5, you can throw a blanket over. Devin Butchno just hoping to stay out in front of the leaders long enough to hold on to only being 1 lap down. But being out in front with no drafting help is hurting him right now, as these trucks are pretty much wide open right now all the way around the track. It's right along here with Eddie Morris. We can hear it's barely off the throttle and right back to the gas. Morris trying to work that low lane. Everybody else up on the high side. You see Devin Butchno just out in front of the leaders, and just listen how little the truck is lifting as he makes his way down turn 1. Just kind of blipping the throttle there just enough to get the truck to settle. Same thing there through turns 3 and 4 as Cody Moore now has Kyle Mayse all over the back bumper, and Dustin Dean trying to battle with Clint Stone for the lead. So Dustin Dean making that 3 wide move up on the high side. Thought he might have gotten up into the wall a little bit. Looking like he's rolling right along. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it doesn't look like he was in the wall at all. So he's trying to run down the 99 of Clint Stone. There's a little battle a little further back. Mark Shavers, Brian Canuti. This is a battle for 6th and 7th as Canuti is going to stay up in that 6th position. Jake McCartney, Brian Merle Jr. back here running. This would be 10th and 11th. Trying to get around Todd Mayse up on the high side. Back behind this group, we see a couple playoff drivers here as well. We see Joe Wright hanging out in the 14th position, trying to get himself up towards the front, try to score some playoff points. Todd Mayse. Getting passed by Brian Merle Jr. here, and Mayse is going to fall back into the 12th position. Glad to see Bobby Mayse back in the race here tonight. Haven't seen Bobby in quite a while, but we see him returning back to the SCSRA as he works his way around the 82 of Joe Wright. And up front, Clint Stone has Dustin Dean trying to make a move down to the inside. Oh, Dean up into the wall. Dustin Dean catches the wall. He's going to fall all the way back into the 4th position. Now Clint Stone has a almost 1 second lead over 2nd place Cody Moore. Will Witt taking a look down underneath Mark Shavers and Eddie Morris. They're 3 wide for a second going through turns 3 and 4. Eddie, who was just battling up here with the front, starting to slide back a little bit. Has he been up into the wall? Take a look here at the right rear, and yeah, you can see that truck has been up into the wall, and that's why we see Eddie sliding backwards right now, much like we were just seeing with Dustin Dean as Will Witt taking a look down underneath Mark Shavers and Eddie Morse. And Will Witt, one of our playoff drivers, trying to advance into the round of championship 4. Will Witt moves himself up into the 6th position. Dustin Dean, again, after getting that damage, he's way off the pace, falling backwards. Just hoping to get to the stage break to try to get himself back in contention after using his reset. Up front, it's all Clint Stone, as he's got a 1-second lead over Cody Moore. Devin Bucchino putting down some laps right now. He's actually running faster times than Clint Stone, as he's doing everything he can to stay out in front of that 99, keep himself just 1 lap down, so he might be able to get back onto the lead lap and contend for a win here tonight at Kansas. Battle's continuing up here. We got Will Witt, Dustin Dean, Eddie Morris, Mark Shavers, all battling together, 3 wide for a moment there down the front stretch. As Dean's going to tuck in between Shavers and Morris, and he's going to take a look down to the inside of Eddie as they go down through turns 3 and 4. A little further back, we see Brett Merle looking down to the inside of David Hartney. This is a battle for the 10th position. Hartney up on the high side, Merle down on the low side. Right behind him, we see Cheeseburger and Provolt battling for it as well. As Brett Merle moves himself up into the top 10, Hartney still, though, fighting back hard on the high side. So a rough day for the Neon drivers. Brett Merle runs in 10th. Jake McCartney in 15th. Brian Merle Jr. in 16th. And Devin Bucchino holding on to that, being 1 lap down, back in the 18th position. So about 20 laps before the stage end here. Clint Stone has a 1.3 second lead over second place, Cody Moore. And Brian Canuti now looking to the outside of Kyle Mayse. Canuti down to the inside. Mayse up on the high side. And Canuti is going to take over that 3rd position. Mayse, though, trying to cross him over here as they go down into turn, or down the front stretch and down towards turn number 1. Kyle Mayse is going to retake that position, but here comes Canuti. Battles back down. Kyle Mayse up on the high side trying to keep the momentum up. He's going to get out, back out in front of Canuti. He's going to have to try to get set up and try to do it all over again. As Mark Shavers tries to work to the back bumper of Todd Mayse. Brett Merle right here in this mix here as well. And Eddie Morris not too far out in front either. What a great battle here for 3rd place, though, as Canuti and Mayse continue to trade blows as we are on lap 26 of 122. Again, the end of the stage will be coming to lap 41. Canuti tries to pull a slide job here on Kyle Mayse, but Mayse fighting back hard up on that high side. Mayse is going to hold on, though, as Mark Shavers hits pit road. Here comes Canuti, though, trying to fight back now up on the high side. Not able to get there as he gets right on the back bumper of Kyle Mayse. Tries to take the air off the spoiler and loosen that 55 up. Looks like it might have worked a little bit as Canuti able to dive down underneath Mayse. Down into turns 3 and 4. While these two are battling, all it's doing is eating up their tires. As up front, Cody Moore making his way around Clint Stone. Clint Stone was just on pit road on lap 27. Dave Hartney also down on pit road. Mark Shavers, we mentioned, was just on pit road. So green flag pit stops happening before the stage. And Cody Moore out in front. And he's still got a little bit of distance between himself and Devin Butchino. Dustin Dean on pit road. We see the heavy damage to the right side of that truck. We'll see if he gets any of his damage cleaned up here. Cheeseburger on pit road as well. Are any of our other leaders going to gamble here and try to stretch it to the stage end? Just 10 laps to the end of the stage. Kyle Mayse now pulling away from Brian Canuti a little bit. I think Canuti might have burned off his tires trying to get around Kyle. But now he's making a run back at that 55 with Will Witt right there waiting in the wings. Michael Provolt now making his way down towards pit road. Eddie Morris on pit road as well. And Brian Canuti just not close enough to make that move happen. Cody Moore peels off of the racetrack onto pit road. I think Cody might have been a little over the speed limit there coming on the pit road. We're going to have to watch that to see if he's held for a speeding penalty. That's going to give the lead over to Kyle Mayse. Brian Canuti now taking a look down to the inside, trying to get that lead away from Kyle Mayse. As they come off of turn number 4, Kyle Mayse able to stay out in front. Will Witt waiting in the wings. Joe Wright now also on pit road. Looks like Cody Moore was able to get off pit road. And it looks like a lot of drivers just taking 2 tires. So some drivers taking 4, but Clint Stone, Cody Moore, Mark Shavers, Michael Provolt, Cheeseburger, all taking 2 tires. Eddie Morris, David Hartney, Dustin Dean, all taking 4 tires as here comes Kyle Mayse down onto pit road. Let's follow Kyle Mayse here, see if he takes 2 or takes 4. Todd Mayse also on pit road right behind. Kyle Mayse takes that long trip down onto pit road. We see the 55 right side tires going to be going up. No, doesn't look like he's taking tires at all. Fuel only for Kyle Mayse. Here comes Brian Canuti and Will Witt. It might have been just fuel only for the drivers that I thought took 2 tires. So Bobby Mayse now out into the lead. Brian Canuti, Will Witt hit their pit stall. Here comes a couple of the Neon Boys down as well. Looks like fuel only for Canuti and Will. Will still sitting there on pit road, and now he's down away. Bobby Mayse now down on the pit road. And that is going to give the lead back to Clint Stone as Devin Butchino now comes down onto pit road. Believe he's going to take fuel only as well. He's trying to keep himself from going another lap down. And Bobby Mayse is out of fuel. Bobby Mayse pushed it too far. Here comes Clint Stone off of, or down into turns 1 and 2. Where is Devin Butchino? He's down on the apron coming off of turn number 2. And here comes Clint Stone. Butch doing everything he can to stay in front of Stone to make sure that he can get himself back on to the lead lap. Clint Stone is back up the speed. We see Joe Wright right behind. Joe is on fresh tires. That's going to hold up Clint Stone just a little bit. Hopefully it's enough, or Butchino's hoping it's just enough to keep Stone from reaching him as Michael Provo is taking a look down underneath Mark Shavers. And Bobby Mayse had some issues here. Let's see what happened to Bobby. Bobby down on the grass. Think he lost it coming off of pit road. Just trying to accelerate and just loops it around. So, fortunately, though, no caution as we see Clint Stone continue to lead over 4 seconds over Cody Moore. But more importantly, he is behind Devin Butchino. Michael Provolt, Brett Merle battling side by side. This is a battle for 5th. As Clint Stone comes across the line. And 1 more lap here in the stage. It looks like Devin Butchino will be able to stay out in front of Clint Stone. And Butch is going to be able to get that lucky dog to get himself back on the lead lap as Clint Stone wins the stage. Cody Moore is going to come home 2nd. Brian Canuti in 3rd. Kyle Mayse 4th in the stage. Brett Merle comes home 5th. Michael Provolt in 6th. Mark Shavers 7th. Brian Merle Jr. back in 8th. Will Witt 9th. And Eddie Morris gets that final stage point. So as Clint Stone comes around to pick up the pace car. And how about that? Devin Butchino able to do everything he can to stay out onto that lucky dog position to get himself back. Actually, It looks like Todd Mayse is going to be getting the lucky dog here. So in a turn of events, Todd Mayse will be your lucky dog. And Devin Butchino will remain one lap down as we see everybody hitting pit road. Oh, Todd Mayse comes down and pits here. So that might give the lucky dog to Devin Butchino. We'll have to see what the call is here. Joe Wright stays out. And there goes Butch. So yes, Butch does indeed get the lucky dog. That will indeed put him back onto the lead lap. So Butch will be able to pit this time to be on the same cycle as the leaders. Joe Wright, who took tires on that stop, stays out on track. He's got about 10 laps less fuel than everybody else. Brett Merle, looks like he took 2 tires, currently sits in second. Clint Stone in third. Cody Moore, Brian Canuti, and Cody Moore and Brian Canuti round out your top 5. Let's see if we can get a word here with Devin Butchino. As he comes down to his pit stall. Hey, Devin, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Josh.
Man, lucky dog candidate getting yourself back on the lead lap. I'm going to guess that they nailed you for jumping the start, and that's why you had to come down pit road there on the first lap.
Yeah, they did, and I didn't jump the start at all. I'm looking forward to having some race control next season because I didn't jump the start at all. So it's definitely frustrating because the truck is really fast. I'm not sure if Clint was saving stuff, but I know he was in the lead, so I don't believe he was saving too much. But the truck's really fast, and it was just a really bad penalty call. So we're just trying to dig ourselves out of this hole now.
Well, exactly what you have to do is dig yourself out of the hole, but it sounds like you've got the truck to do it, so good luck for the rest of the race out.
Thanks, Josh. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this one.
Hopefully we'll talk to you there, too.
Thanks, Josh.
So that was the 68 of Devin Butchino getting a penalty for jumping the start, and let's actually go back and see if we can take a look here at the start to see what they called the penalty for here. And I'm not really sure what the jump was there, but I know race control will be looking at it after the race. So as we work our first caution, which is the stage caution, we'll have green flag racing for the rest of the way here, unless, of course, a caution comes out for an incident. But Joe Wright on 10-lap older tires. Brett Merle up on the high side on just 2 tires. Clint Stone and Cody Moore in the second row. Excuse me, they're on 4 tires. Then Brian Canuti and Kyle Mayse back in row number 3 as the field gets set to come back to the starting zone. Joe Wright's going to lead them down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing. Ooh, poor start for Brett Merle. He's going to fall back into the 3rd position. That's going to allow Clint Stone to get right there on the back bumper of Joe Wright. Those older tires, Clint Stone's going to easily look right up to the high side, and he's going to be able to take the lead right away from Joe Wright as they come down the backstretch and almost have some three-wide racing. As Brett Merle was thinking about pushing it three wide. Oh, almost gets into Joe Wright. I think he made a little contact with Joe. Now they're three wide with Cody Moore on the high side. Brett Merle in the middle. Joe Wright on the bottom as they come through the oval. Michael Proval has to make evasive action down into the grass. What a wild restart, but everybody keeps it straight. As now Brett Merle is getting passed by the 6 of Mark Shavers. Here comes Will Witt up on the high side as well. So the big loser of this restart is the 82 of Joe Wright. As Brian Canuti has now moved himself up in the second. He's trying to chase down Clint Stone with Cody Moore running back in third. Watch this 68 of Butchino now. He's back in traffic, but he said he's got a fast truck. Watch for him to get himself back up towards the front. As Cody Moore now has Kyle Mayse on the back bumper, trying to take over that third spot. Gaggle of cars back here. We see Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence looking around the inside. Brian Merle Jr. Here comes Eddie Morris down to the inside as well. Looks like Morris used his reset to get himself a clean truck. Devin Butchino right behind as well, as they are three wide down the front stretch. Morris not in a position he wants to be without a reset left in the bag. Cody Moore, Will Witt side by side coming down the backstretch. Mark Shavers right in front. He's going to give a little drafting help to the 52 of Cody Moore. And Moore is going to be able to move right around Will Witt. Dustin Dean taking a look down underneath Will Witt now, trying to take over that 6th position as Cody Moore and Mark Shavers are now side by side down the backstretch. Kyle Mayse just ran the fastest lap of the race with a 30.90 that time by. And Cody Moore trying to get around Shavers up on the high side. As they go down into turn number 1, looks like Moore should be able to clear that 6th machine off of turn number 2. Dustin Dean trying to make his way around Will Witt. As these four battle 4th through 7th. We see Devin Butchino trying to work around Cheeseburger Lawrence up into the 11th position. So Butch almost back up into the top 10, unfortunately. Oh, makes some contact with Cheeseburger. Turns Cheesy B. Yellow flag is out. And that is going to bring up a wreckage rewind. Bear with me just a second. I had the my screen was all messed up on my side. We were right there watching the action as it happened. It looks like well, Cheesy B was a little bit low, but I just don't think that Butchino knew that Cheeseburger was going to be that low off the corner. Really can't blame Lawrence for that at all. Just a little bit of a racing deal. Two drivers trying to take over the same spot. Lawrence Able just to slide down to the infield, doesn't hit anything, gets a lockdown. He's on pit road getting a little bit of repairs done from the contact. Meanwhile, the entire field, besides Joe Wright and David Hartney, has come down pit road to take fuel. So Joe Wright and David Hartney out in front, trying to use a little fuel strategy here, gambling. So when we restart, Joe Wright will be your leader. David Hartney will be in second. Clint Stone back in the third position. Brian Canuti in fourth. Kyle Mayse fifth. Cody Moore sixth. Dustin Dean up into seventh. Mark Shavers, Will Witt, and Michael Provost, your top 10. Devin Butchnow, I don't know how much damage he's got to the right front of that truck. Let's yeah, you see that little bit of damage there. You can see the crinkle right there in the MC on McKinleyville Barbershop. So a little bit of damage to the right side of that truck. Don't know how much that's going to hurt him. But still a lot of racing to go to get himself back in position. And Dave Hartney now makes his way down pit road. Eddie Morris on pit road and Todd Mayse. These drivers all coming down to top off. As Joe Wright's going to choose the inside lane. Clint Stone up to the outside. Then Brian Canuti and Kyle Mayse back in the second row. Dustin Dean, Cody Moore in the third row. Will Witt, Mark Shavers, and Devin Butchinow and Michael Provost, your top 10. Looks like Bobby Mayse has retired from the event. So as Joe Wright leads them back down to the Geico restart zone. And we are getting close to the halfway mark here tonight. As Joe Wright leads them down. And the green flag is back in the air. We are back racing here at Kansas. Joe Wright with a great jump. Clint Stone, Brian Canuti side by side down into turn number 1. And Canuti looking for the lead here from Joe Wright as they come off of turn number 2. Field starting to stretch out a little bit behind, or spread out from behind, as Cody Moore right there on the back bumper of Clint Stone, as Joe Wright having to stay up on the high side. Oh, almost gets into the side of Cody Moore. Mark Shaver is going to move around right as well. Dave Hartney makes his way down onto pit road. Devin Butchinow stuck back here in traffic trying to get around the 35 of Will Witt and the 11, his teammate Brett Merle, as Clint Stone now has Cody Moore back on the back bumper, as those two are making their way back up to Brian Canuti as they come across the line. 58 laps in the book. Getting close to halfway. Brian Canuti out in front of Clint Stone and Cody Moore. Cody Moore looking up to the high side as they come off of turn number 2. They're going to be side by side for the second position. That's what Brian Canuti wants to see in his mirror, those two side by side. That'll give him a little bit of breathing room. A little further back, we see some almost 3 wide racing. Joe Wright holding up Will Witt just a little bit. Here comes Devin Bucciano down to the inside. Kyle Mayse trying to follow him through as well. As now Cody Moore up into the second position. And Cody Moore trying to get the lead here from Brian Canuti as they come off of turn number 4. Will Witt struggling a little bit, falling back. He's fallen back to the 11th position. And I don't know, maybe he might have been up into the wall. Well, that truck looks clean, so maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel or tires to make it to the end. Brian Canuti continuing to lead over Cody Moore. Last time by, the top 2 drivers ran identical lap times, 31:34s. Clint Stone ran a 31:41. Your fastest driver on the track, though, was the 21 of Dustin Dean. As now he's caught Clint Stone, and he's looking down to the inside of the 99, trying to take over that 3rd position, and he will take it over. So just past halfway now. Dustin Dean rolls up into the 3rd position. And Cody Moore just hanging out on the back bumper of Brian Canuti. Devin Bucciano looking up to the high side of Brian Merle Jr. as Butch is trying to take that 7th position away. As he mentioned earlier, he's got a fast truck, although that damage on that right front, I'm sure, is hindering his performance just a little bit. So he's able to clear his teammate, move himself up in the 7th, and you're going to try to run down the 6 of Mark Shavers. Shavers and Brett Merle now nose to tail as Brett's starting to pull away from Shavers just a little bit. As Dustin Dean now running down the 52 of Cody Moore. Dean trying to move himself up into the runner-up position. Here comes Clint Stone, though, back down on the bottom, trying to work down underneath Dustin Dean. Dustin Dean up on that high side, going to keep that momentum to stay out in front of Clint Stone. This battle between teammates is still going on. I'm surprised that Junior is fighting with Devin Bucciano so hard for this position. Butch being in the playoffs in the round of 8. You figure that maybe Junior would cut him a little bit of slack, but now Butch gets himself back up in the 7th, but here comes Junior looking back down to the inside. Back up front, Brian Canuti continues to lead over Cody Moore and Dustin Dean. And now we see Brett Merle has made his way up into this group as well. Cody Moore backs out of it just a bit. Now he's going to put himself back into the 5th position as Dustin Dean moves up to 2nd. And Cody Moore might be trying to save a little bit of fuel. So Right around with Cody here. See if he's definitely backing out a little bit more, trying to save every drop of fuel that he can as he runs behind Brett Merle, using that draft to save as much fuel as he can. Take a look off the back bumper of Dustin Dean. Flintstone looking a little low. We see Brett Merle right there on the bottom as well. Brett, one of our round of 8 drivers. As he moves himself up into the second position. Here comes Clint Stone looking down underneath Dustin Dean as well. And Stone's going to retake the third position away from Dustin. So here comes Dustin fighting back hard on the high side. Big wiggle out of the 52 of Cody Moore from behind. His truck looked really upset there on the transition from the apron. Now Clint Stone tries to take over that top spot, but here comes Dustin Dean fighting back on the high side. And as that's going on, we've got a battle for the lead heating up as Brett Merle now looking down underneath Brian Canuti to take over the lead. Now, looks like Canuti also trying to save a little bit of fuel here. You hear just how much he's lifting there. Brett Merle not able to complete the pass down on the low side. So the battle for the lead continues here between Brian Canuti and Brett Merle. Great view from inside the 28 of Canuti. As Brett's taking that look back down to the inside. Trying to take the lead away, but Canuti's going to have that one by a nose as they cross the line. Now Brett's going to be able to clear the 28 of Canuti, although Canuti fights back again up on the high side. It doesn't look like Brett's worrying too much about tires or fuel, as he's now going to lead that lap and going to try to clear Canuti as they go through turns 1 and 2. Canuti, though, just being a pester out on the outside, not letting Brett clear him. Now Brett's going to have to tuck in behind the 28 as Canuti might have found something up on that high side. That time by, he was just a little bit quicker. He's able to pull away from Brett Merle just a little bit. But these two have a 1 second lead over Brian Merle Jr., who's now up into the third position. So Clint Stone, Dustin Dean, Cody Moore, these drivers in heavy fuel saving mode right now. And we can tell by the lap times. Last time by, Clint Stone ran a 32.77. Brian Merle Jr. just ran a 32.4. So Jr. trying to steal himself a win here tonight with a little bit of strategy. A little further back, we see Mark Shavers, Will Witt, Jake McCarthy all battling here for position. Devin Butchino back in the 13th position. Really struggling with his truck right now. Could be the damage to the right side of that truck. He does have a reset still, and we do have one more pit stop to go. So we'll see if something happens where a yellow might come out and save Butchino as Jake McCartney takes a look down underneath Mark Shavers, trying to take away that 8th position. Low battles all over the track here. This is a battle for 8th and 9th. But the big battle that's heating up is the battle for the lead. Brian Canuti now starting to pull away from Brett Merle just a little bit. Last time by, Canuti was 2/100ths quicker than Merle. Merle sits right there in the tire tracks trying to rerun down that 28 machine of Brian Canuti. See Clint Stone right there in the tire tracks of Brian Merle Jr. And Stone again doing everything he can to save fuel. Last on pit road on lap 53. We know from the first run that they can go about 31 to 33 laps on fuel. So most of these drivers will be coming down onto pit road in the next, I'm going to guess, 3 to 5 laps. Although drivers like Clint Stone, Cody Moore, Dustin Dean, who are saving some fuel, might be able to stretch it a little bit further and may pit closer to like lap 90. Which is what these drivers are trying to do. If they want to make it to the end on one more stop, lap 92 is really the number that they want to hit, that 30 lap mark to the end. So can anybody stretch it those 10 more laps to get themselves to the end? As Brett Merle's really putting the pressure on Brian Canuti. By doing that, that's forcing Canuti to use a little bit more fuel. Merle back down to the inside, but just not able to complete the pass. And now Clint Stone running these two drivers down. Clint now the fastest truck on the track, just ran a 32.4 to Canuti's 32.6. And he's got Brian Merle Jr. in tow. This battle for the lead, neither driver really giving an inch. You see the different lines that all these drivers are running here around this Kansas Speedway. But who will be the first driver to make their way down onto pit road, and will that signal all the other drivers to make their way down as well? Or is everybody going to try to stick to their strategy and try to make it to the end on one more stop? Across the line next time, we'll have just 35 laps to go. And we are approaching 34 laps since the last time these boys were on pit road. Brett and Canuti continue to do battle for this top spot. Neither one of them wanting to give the other one a break. And your top 5 cars all within a second and a half of each other. And then from Cody Moore, or from Brian Merle Jr. back to Cody Moore, is almost 4 seconds as we see Jr. taking a look down underneath Clint Stone. And Jr. coming down the pit road. Here comes Brett Merle down on the pit road. So the Neon Boys coming down on the pit road. Cody Moore making his way down on the pit road as well. Dustin Dean on the pit road. This should bring everybody down on pit road soon. Here comes Brian Canuti. See if he peels off for pit road this time. Or if he tries to stretch it out another lap. Nope, here he comes down on the pit road. Clint Stone's going to stay out. Will Witt coming down on the pit road. But Mark Shavers. Shavers stays out. Here comes Jake McCarty on the pit road. Kyle Mayse makes his way down on the pit road. This first group of drivers making their way off of pit road. What about Clint Stone, Devin Buccino, Eddie Morris? These drivers in the playoffs trying to move themselves into the round of 4. Clint Stone slows down. He's going to come on to pit road this time. Michael Provolt slowing down, coming on the pit road. Mark Shavers on the pit road. Devin Buccino slowing down to make it onto pit road, trying to get everything he can down onto the pit road. Eddie Morris does stay out. He's going to take over the lead, get himself a bonus point for leading a lap. You see all these drivers on fresh tires making their way around Eddie Morse. Eddie's slowing down. He's going to hit pit road this time. Todd Mayse. See if he comes down. Yep, Todd's going to come down on the pit road as well. Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence slowing down the pit road. That's going to cycle around and give Clint Stone. Actually, Clint Stone and Brian Canuti now battling for the lead. Canuti gets out in front of Clint Stone to take over the lead. Brett Merle up into 3rd. And 4 tires and fuel for everybody there. As Cody Moore takes a look up to the high side of Brett Merle. And Brian Merle Jr. right here in this mix as well. Well, 30 laps to go here at Kansas. Might still have to do a little bit of fuel saving, but these drivers, some of them should be able to make it to the end. As Brian Canuti out in front of Clint Stone by over a second. Canuti's got the lap truck of Todd Mayse right in front of him. Of course, Clint Stone, part of the Mayse Mafia. I'm sure Todd's going to not make it very easy for Canuti to get around. Or at least he'll be easier on his teammate, Clint Stone. See brothers battling out here for 4th and 5th, Brett Merle and Brian Merle. These two trying to have a great finish up in the top 5. Of course, Brett is in the playoffs. Junior was knocked out last week, but having a valiant run here up in the 5th. And Clint Stone is running down Brian Canuti. I'm not sure why my Delta graph is broken. There we go. Now it's going to look right. Because I can only show 5 laps. We see Clint Stone eating down into that gap. Now under half a second, 0.4. Kyle Mayse working around the outside of Jake McCarty. Move Kyle Mayse up into the 7th position. He's got the lap truck of David Hartney here as well, throwing a pick. As they're going to be 3 wide for a moment down the backstretch. And Mayse is going to get around McCarty and move himself up into the 7th position. Brett and Brian continue to run nose to tail. Up front, we've got a battle shaping up for the lead. Clint Stone running down Brian Canuti, trying to take over that top spot as Stone's going to look down to the inside. Down across the line, we'll have just 23 laps to go. Brian Canuti able to stay out in front by a nose. Stone continues the battle down on the low side. Canuti up on the high side. They are side by side, door to door down the backstretch. Coming at 22 laps to go. Three-second lead from these two back to second place. Cody Moore is now Stone. Tries working the high side, and Canuti battles down on the low side. Again, door to door down the backstretch. This time Stone up on the high side. Canuti down on the low side. Down into turns 3 and 4. Who's going to prevail, the shorter way around the track or that momentum up on the high side as they come down to the stripe? And Clint Stone is going to clear Brian Canuti down into turn number 1. Next time by, we'll have just 20 laps to go. Brian Merle Jr., Brett Merle continue to go nose to tail. Now Jr. is going to look up to the high side of his brother, but not close enough to try to make that move work. Joe Wright down on pit road. Tried to do a fuel strategy for himself, but not able to stretch it to the end. As up front, Clint Stone starting to pull away from second place, Brian Canuti. And third place, Cody Moore, running all by himself, just trying to log some laps and get himself some great points moving into next week in the final race of the round of 8. Next week, we move on to Auto Club Speedway. We'll see some great racing there. Usually we see 4 and 5 wide restarts and finishes at California. So don't forget to tune in next week. That's going to be another great race as we'll have possibly three drivers trying to battle for that final position. That's if Clint Stone is to win this race. If Clint does not win this race and Brian Canuti wins this race, then we'll have 4 spots up for grabs next week. Of course, with the win and you're in format, if Clint Stone is able to win this race here tonight, then we'll have 3 drivers fighting it out for those final 3 spots. These two, Brett Merle and Brian Merle Jr., are running down Cody Moore for that 3rd position. I don't know if it's just because Cody doesn't have any drafting help, or maybe Cody's trying to save a little bit of fuel, because he was down on lap 88 where Clint Stone came in on lap 90. Jake McCarthy, Michael Provolt battling for position here. We see Kyle Mayse right here as well, as Mayse has Dave Hartney working down to the inside. Dave currently runs back in the 17th position, 1 lap down. Sorry, he's more than 1 lap down. Looks like he is 3 laps down. Ooh, Joe Wright up into the wall. Joe Wright 2 laps down. Hartney is 3 laps down. As we have 15 laps to go here at Kansas, and Clint Stone is pulling away from Brian Canuti. See Devin Buccino right in front of Clint Stone yet again. He is on the tail end of the lead lap. And it looks like he was able to use that reset and get that damage fixed, but right now just struggling as he is in danger of going a lap down. 3 drivers under a blanket right here. We've got Michael Provolt, who has Kyle Mayse looking for a way around, and Mark Shavers right there as well, trying to follow him through. Shavers down to the inside. He's going to clear Kyle Mayse. Oh, Mayse looks like he was going to cross him over for a second, and those two go down into turns 3 and 4, and they're trying to get around the 95 of Michael Provolt. Well, while we've got 12 laps to go, let's take a look through the field where all of our playoff drivers are. Starting with your leader, Clint Stone, currently out in front over second place, Brian Canuti. Cody Moore runs back in the 3rd position, the 2nd highest running playoff driver. Having a solid night. He's up 2 spots from where he started and just holding on to that 3rd position. He's got a 2-second lead over 4th place, Brett Merle. Brett having a great run tonight, trying to maximize his points here tonight. Up into the 4th position as he tries to have a solid finish as he's pulling away from his brother, Brian Merle Jr. Then Will Witt runs back in the 6th position. Now Will up 6 spots from where he started, the biggest mover of our playoff drivers here tonight, as he tries to punch his ticket into the round of 4. Back in 10th, we'll find the 55 of Kyle Mayse. Down 7 spots from where he started, having a rough night. Started off great up at the front. Now finds himself holding on to a top 10 finish. Eddie Morris back in the 11th position. was involved in an earlier incident. Now finds himself back in 11th, just trying to hold on and maximize as many points as he can. You see that truck get really loose there through the tri-oval. Devin Buccino runs back in the 13th position, just went one lap down. You see Brian Canuti right in front of him with 8 laps to go. Buccino is in the lucky dog position should the yellow come out. And finally, Joe Wright trying to make a fuel strategy call. Finds himself back in the 16th position. He's a couple laps down. And he's going to have to win next week if he wants to move himself into the championship 4. So as Clint Stone comes across the line here, we'll have just 7 laps to go. Clint Stone with a 1-second lead over second place Brian Canuti. And then Cody Moore almost 5 seconds behind Canuti. So these two just kind of running away with it right now. But anything could happen. A yellow could come out. That would reset the field. Bring out a green-white checker. Have to do it all over again. So a lot can happen in these next 6 laps. Five laps to go for Clint Stone as he comes across the line. Last time by, Brian Canuti and Clint Stone ran identical laps. This time by, though, Canuti was about a 10th slower. And Clint Stone pitted the latest out of our leaders here, so we know he's got plenty of fuel to make it to the end. Brian Canuti pit on lap 89, so we know he'll be able to make it to the end. Cody Moore, though, pit on lap 88. It's going to be very close for him unless he was able to save enough. As you see, he's working around the lap truck of Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. 4 laps to go. Clint Stone off of turn number 2. And down the backstretch, no pressure from behind. He's able just to let that truck roll. Working that higher lane. And coming up on the lap truck of not 100% sure who that is that he's running down right now. But as he comes to 2 laps to go, hopefully the lap truck will stay down out of the way. That is the 21 of Dustin Dean. 12th place driver, about to go a lap down. Well, Dustin Dean, who was battling for the win earlier in the race, now finds himself going a lap down. Clint Stone makes easy work of the 21. And off of turn number 4, white flag is in the air. 1 more lap to go for the 99 of Clint Stone to punch his ticket into the championship 4 race. Two-second lead over Brian Canuti behind as he comes down the backstretch for the final time. Lets it coast through turns 3 and 4. And Clint Stone will punch his ticket to Chicagoland and win here at Kansas Speedway. So what a great finish here for Clint Stone. So he makes his way down to the front stretch where he's going to celebrate his victory here. Brian Canuti is going to come down for the photo op as well. And third place, Cody Moore, makes his way down to the front stretch. Now Clint Stone's going to be able to celebrate here after his photo op here. Or he might just sit there on the front stretch and just bask in the victory. Let's take a look at our final results. Clint Stone getting the win. Brian Canuti comes home second. Cody Moore in third. Brett Merle and Brian Merle round out your top five. There goes the victory behind the scorecard there. Will Witt comes home sixth. Jake McCartney in seventh. Michael Proval eighth. Kyle Mayse and Mark Shavers your top 10. Eddie Morris comes home 11th. Dustin Dean 12th. Devin Butchino, a rough night for him, comes home 13th. Puts him in a must-win situation next week at Auto Club. 14th, Michael Lawrence, Todd Mays, Joe Wright, David Hartney, and Bobby Mays. So a couple drivers in a must-win situation next week, including Joe Wright and Devin Butchino, as we get ready to talk to our top three here tonight. Starting with your third place finisher, Cody Moore. Cody, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, buddy.
Man, great job for you here tonight. Coming home third. Just didn't have enough there at the end for Canuti and Stone. And Choir Minds have to ask, how much fuel was in the tank and how much of that last run was, those last two runs was fuel saving?
The caution that came out after the stage actually made us good. I actually ran out on the last lap, but I knew I was good the whole time. If that caution wouldn't have come out, then yeah, it would have been a fuel save race. But we actually, after that caution, could just go full bore the whole rest of the race.
For sure. And so great job able to save what you needed there. And caution sounds like the cautions kind of fell your way here tonight. I know there wasn't too many cautions. A nice clean race here at Kansas Speedway. How was the tire wear? Because I know Kansas is famous for eating up those tires here tonight.
Yeah, the number 52 Falcon Graphics. It was it was pretty tight tonight. I couldn't figure out 3 and 4 to save my life. I kept trying different things. 1 and 2 I felt really good about. But yeah, the tires, it was just tight in 3 and 4, and I don't know if that was other people's experience, but at least that was mine. I couldn't quite figure it out.
Well, a great job here tonight. Looks like it's going to help you punch or move into the round of 4. We still have one more race to go, so a couple of drivers around you having some struggles here tonight. So before we let you go, anyone you want to thank, any shout you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, of course. As always, I want to thank my beautiful wife Maggie, my emotional support proxy wife Cassie, my 2 kids, Ethan and Abby, Papa Moore watching at home, all my teammates at Wasted Wages. Well, one teammate that actually showed up, Will Witt. Falcon Graphics, Mick for making these awesome paints, and yeah, I want to thank everyone for avoiding me out there for all the talentless moves I made tonight. My apologies, but luckily I didn't take anyone out.
Well, great job again tonight, and we look forward to seeing what you can do tomorrow night in the Xfinity Series.
Thanks, Josh.
Have a great night. So that was your third place finisher, Cody Moore. Let's bring in your second place finisher, Brian Canuti. Brian, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, buddy.
Man, great run for you here tonight. I thought you might have had something for Clint Stone there at the end, but just came up a little bit short. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Cody. How was the fuel situation and how much were you saving there coming those last 2 runs?
That last stint, I was not saving any fuel. I was just driving as hard as I could. The stint before that, I definitely tried to save a little bit of fuel, just because I wasn't sure how close it was going to be. And then with about 10 laps to go left in that stint, I saw when we were going to have to be able to pit, and I was going to be good at the end. Not for any green white checkers or anything like that, but I would have been good to go.
Well, it looked like the tire wear out there and the truck's sliding around, pushing around a little bit tonight. So offers for some great racing. What seemed to be the secret to the speed here tonight? Because you seem to be on rails there those last two runs.
I just the very first stint, like once we went green, I was just trying to save some fuel so I could try to get on and off pit road quicker, shorter pit stop. And then the second two runs, saving a little less fuel, and then just basically you kind of feel once it didn't want to kind of grab as much going in 3 and 4, you go straight to the top in 3 and 4, and then I'd run the bottom in 1 and 2. And then once you kind of start to feel it kind of go away on the bottom in 1 and 2, then I just ran the top the whole time, just to kind of crack the top and and then get back on the gas hard and just try to kick out that rear end a little bit and just ride right up against that wall.
Well, a great run for you here tonight, and a couple drivers up in the top five we don't normally see. So some great diversity through the field here tonight as well. Before you let you go, get in, anyone you want to thank, any shout you want to give?
Oh yeah, I got to give a shout out to Clint. Ran an awesome race today. Give a shout out to all my teammates. We got Eddie, Dustin Dean, and Joe. He was here tonight too. I wasn't sure if he was here, but he was. So I had a couple teammates there. It was fun racing with everybody. I also got to thank all the other admins. You up in the booth, guys, do an awesome job. And just definitely give a big shout out to Devin Butchino for really kind of helping grow the league for next season. We got a lot of new rookies coming in, and big shout out to that. And my beautiful wife for letting me do this. And as always, I got to thank Gill's Dump Truck Service and Pizzeria, the fastest dump trucks in the Northwest.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the runner-up position. Brian Canuti in second place. It's a familiar sight, but hopefully moving on to California next week, you can win at your home track.
Yep. Thanks, Finn.
Have a good night.
All right.
That was your second place finisher, Brian Canuti. Let's bring in your winner here tonight, the 99 of Clint Stone. Clint, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, punching your ticket to the round of 4. That's got to feel pretty good, not having to really worry about next week.
Yeah, because I guess next week will be assume a draft fest, maybe. It's good to not have to rely on. I assume there's gonna be a big wreck.
Well,
So
typically, I was gonna say, typically at tracks like that, you normally see is a big wreck at a track like Auto Club or even Talladega. But yeah, you're right. Doing a draft and track, it's always always in the back of your mind, that big one. So having that done and out of the way kind of helps you out.
yeah, and somebody's got to get in. They're not in, or whatever. You never know.
But talk us
Yeah.
through this last couple of runs. You and Canuti having some great battles, and you having battles with everybody up there at the front here tonight. I know typically we see you kind of run away with these things, but tonight you had a little bit of competition. Was it because of the fuel saving, or was it because of people stepping up their games?
Yeah, I really didn't think we could make it on fuel. But I running the bottom. I thought my tires would be, better, which I think they were at the end of that first run. I felt like I coached them a little bit. But yeah, I think the fuel, it was in the back of my head. I knew if I got to the good that I could run harder. Because we were pretty close on that first, well, no, it was 40 laps. I didn't run that out. I don't know what I'm talking about. Uh, yeah, but no, I did think it was going to be pretty close. Yeah, I saved, and I wanted to keep track. I wanted to keep him right there. He got out there a little ways, but I felt like as long as I could keep him close enough, of course, then the pit stop, you can't speed, or you got to have a good stop. we stayed pretty close there, and then I don't know, one lap newer tires, and I don't know how close he was on fuel, but uh, yeah, I was surprised he could run the top or run out front that hard, uh, still make it.
Well, a great job for you getting the win again, locking yourself into the race at Chicagoland. Before we let you go, Clint, anyone you want to thank? Any shots you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, you for putting on the broadcast, uh, the league, and then all the Mayse crew and Mark.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the win. We look forward to seeing what you do in the championship race at Chicagoland.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Have a great night. So there's your winner, Clint Stone, punching his ticket to Chicagoland. Of course, great race overall. A lot of excitement there, especially towards the end. We look forward to next week at Auto Club, where, again, we've got quite a few drivers in a must-win situation. Of course, don't forget to join us tomorrow night as the Dev Sports Card Xfinity Series takes on Charlotte Motor Speedway for their first round of the round of 8. Atlee Atman Weiss will have the call for that. Then Thursday night, we've got Thunderstruck. Friday night, we've got the Original Rebels Grand National Series. Of course, our truck doubleheaders on Sunday and Tuesday. So join us right here on Intensity Broadcasting. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. It really helps us out. Also let you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. One more time, we want to congratulate Clint Stone for punching his ticket to Chicagoland. We want to thank everybody once again. Don't forget to check out the links down below for our great partners, such as Butt Kicker and IntensityRacing.com. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.